And we're back live. Freedom Convoy 2022, cruising to the Capitol. And I'm Rick Walker, and I'm here with
Brendan Kennedy, the host of the Flow of Discourse podcast.
And Chris Baugh, the co-host of Flow of Discourse. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Good evening.
It's great to be back. We've only been gone for 3 hours, and already so much has happened. I guess while we're waiting for our first guest, I think we could go ahead and we could play. I think this is probably the highlight of the day. I would definitely say. Give me one moment here. I'm just going to bring it up.
Sure. What we're doing here this evening, folks, for those of you joining us for the first time, is we're providing live coverage to the best of our ability from the Freedom Convoy in the nation's capital in Ottawa, simply because the mainstream media is clearly not providing an accurate picture of what is going on up there. We can't rely on them. And so we're just trying to provide a service here for folks. And we have people on the ground in Ottawa who are sharing videos with us. They're also joining us online to share their thoughts and give us the lay of the land up on Parliament Hill, where thousands and thousands of Canadians from across the country have gathered to express their displeasure and their concerns with vaccine mandates, led by truckers from across Canada who are demanding an end to vaccine mandates or the resignation of the Prime Minister and the government. And we will see where it all ends up. So here's, I guess, a video that's going to, I think, warm our hearts if it's the clip that I think you were talking about earlier, Brendan.
Yes, I do hope so. And, I mean, opening any good show is best done with the national anthem, I think. So here we go.
We see the rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard
And that there is pretty epic.
I haven't heard that in a while.
We don't have audio for you, Rick Walker. You hit mute.
There has been an outpouring of national pride in Ottawa, and people have literally draped the flag over themselves. They're immersing themselves in Canadian patriotism.
Absolutely beautiful. So, while we are waiting for our next guest there, it looks like there's been some updates in Saskatchewan. Chris, are you able to pull that one up?
Saskatchewan.
Yes.
Out of here on the page. Going back to where we were working here.
Just to clarify, I guess in Saskatchewan, the Premier, Scott Moe, has announced an end to the vaccine passports. And so the mandates there are, he's issued a media release, which I have not read in full. I only read a small portion of it before we went on air. But there is a path forward now in Saskatchewan to see an end to these mandates. And he is thanking the truckers for their efforts. And I also see that he is making reference to the vaccines, which he says do not prevent infection or transmission. And because of that, he says cross-border mandates for truckers no longer make sense. And he is calling on the federal government to follow suit and bring an end to all of these mandates. And he is thanking the truckers and throwing his support behind them and what they are doing. So that's a major development, and I think it will be encouraging for the people who are in Ottawa right now protesting, demonstrating. But whether that translates into action from Justin Trudeau and the federal government remains to be seen.
Yeah, so I got the Twitter right here. I'm just going to get her available and pull her up. It has the actual letter that was sent. I hope I can get it closer.
Now, it isn't clear if the actions that he is taking or the announcement that he just made are the result of what the truckers are doing, but
no, I'm unable to get a closer image, unfortunately.
Oh, there was
There we go.
There was an article in our.
There was. This was this was on the article from. Oh, who was it here? The Counter Signal, and it was brought in by that. Oh, wonderful!
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Sure
yes,
can.
we can. How are you tonight, Greg? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. I'm doing okay. I'm still warming up from being out on the on Parliament Hill today, but I'm feeling good, feeling filled with Canadian pride right now. How are you guys?
Well, we're pretty good, and you're looking very Canadian with your with all your winter gear on.
Yeah, I even had a plaid onesie on top of my coat and everything. So we recorded some fun content today. Talked to some truckers, some farmers, lots of just regular Canadians who are there, you know.
Mm-hmm. And what's your sense on the ground? Is the ground being gained, or what's happening up there?
Well, I mean, I've never seen Parliament Hill so packed. Over the past couple of years, I've gone to Canada Day celebrations. There's been a lot of people, but this was something completely different. It took you hours to walk from, one side of Parliament to the other. And there's people everywhere. I mean, I've only just kind of opened up my phone to see kind of the little snippets of what the mainstream media is saying. But, maybe there's a swastika they found here or like a Confederate flag. I didn't see any of that. And in fact, I saw hundreds and hundreds of hilarious, creative signs, just all sorts of amazing, like-minded people. And so, yeah, I don't really know what the media is saying, but it felt like Canada Day. And everyone was saying that this feels like a really big Canada Day celebration. A lot of regular Canadians.
Before we get too much further ahead with this, can you just kind of introduce yourself? Because I know you've got an online podcast. You've just let people know who you are and what you do, because we'd like to give you a little plug and send people over to your YouTube channel and stuff as well.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Rick. So my name's Greg Wycliffe. I'm kind of like a politician turned YouTuber. I jumped into politics in 2019 to support Max Bernier and the PPC. And for my campaign, I started to produce some video content for that. I kind of made some parody videos, made some sort of comedic videos to try and get people to care about Canadian politics, because one of the biggest things we're fighting in this country is apathy. But then after the 2019 election in PPC, I kind of had a little bit of a following, and I kept doing that. And now we got 8,000 subscribers, and I'm kind of doing my thing, being a content creator, and check me out on all the socials. Obviously, Instagram is Greg Wycliffe, one word. YouTube is just search my name, Greg space Wycliffe. I'm also on Twitter and TikTok at GDub, which is people are like, what are you talking about? But it's GDDUB. But
And I can vouch for Greg that he does the greatest Justin Trudeau impersonation this side of the Rocky Mountain.
There's a few other good ones out there. I'm working on it though.
Yeah.
All of these terrorists who came to Parliament Hill will soon be. There will be consequences. But what were you guys looking at? You're looking at some document or something? What was that?
That was, I think, a big development. Are you aware of what happened in Saskatchewan and Premier Scott Moe announcing that he's bringing an end to the vaccine passports?
No, I did not hear that. How recent is that?
Just a few hours ago. A few hours ago, January 29th, it was reported by the Counter Signal with Ian Bexby.
It's good timing. Good timing to bring up letter. Was it a formal letter or was it a
news release?
News release.
Yes.
Good. People are fed up, man. Like it's and it was cool because a lot of the media is banking. The media and the political establishment seems to be banking on like angry, like violent people to be there, and there really wasn't any of that. Although when I left the Hill, there was a lot of people who were kind of like music was playing, a little bit of partying going on. I wouldn't be surprised if that kind of develops into something, but hopefully it's civil or whatever.
Yeah, there's that letter.
I'm just saying if there is going to be like chaos tonight, it's going to be from people kind of partying and getting drunk,
Yeah.
In my estimation.
Well, it's like my mama used to always say, nothing good ever happens after 11 p.m.
I'm on my cell phone, so there's no way I can read that. But
yeah, we can't read it here either. Either.
I have it up on Twitter. I think I could squint hard enough and I could read it. So it goes, I want to start with a clear and simple message that every Saskatchewan and Canadian trucker, farmer, and individual that has contributed to keeping our communities operating over the past 2 years. Thank you. Thank you for delivering food and household products we all use every day, the parts and equipment that keep our farms and industries running, and every other kind of goods and products you can imagine. If you bought something today, a trucker delivered it. So thank you. You also deserve a special thank you for everything you have done over the past 2 years since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. So in the early days, all right, where's the good stuff? Not that that's not good. So I want to... Oh, he pulls a Justin Trudeau. He goes, I want to be clear on how I feel about vaccines. I'm fully vaccinated with my booster shot. This did not prevent me from recently contracting COVID-19, but I believe it did keep me from becoming sick. In fact, I really had no symptoms at all, other than cabin fever from being stuck in my house for several days. My experience was similar to many other vaccinated people. Vaccination does not keep you from contracting COVID-19, but it does prevent most people from becoming seriously ill. That's why I will continue to encourage everyone to get vaccinated, because I do not want any of you to become seriously ill. That said, because vaccination is not reducing transmission, the current federal border policy for truckers makes no sense. An unvaccinated trucker does not pose any greater risk of transmission than a vaccinated trucker. However, the current federal policy does pose a significant risk to Canada's economy and to the supply chain in our Saskatchewan communities, where you and I live. This federal policy will increase the cost of living, which is now rising at a rate that is creating a significant hardship for many Canadians. That is why my government supports your call to end cross-border ban on unvaccinated truckers. It is why, in the not-too-distant future, our government will end our proof of negative test / proof of vaccination policy in Saskatchewan. there you have it. Bravo. Oh.
Good job, Scott Moe. And that's really the tone. That's like the easy out that I'm hoping Trudeau takes, right? Because he can't just say, yeah, we're going to get rid of all this. But an easy out for him to like still save face is to say, well, I still believe in this, and I got my booster shot, and it's so good, and it's so great, and you should get it too. But we are going to do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, do that, Trudeau. Do that. Follow Scott Moe's lead. You still sound good. You don't have to break your pharmaceutical product selling narrative. The only thing about that is, with all this leverage and all this momentum, we need to keep pushing, because
Yes.
I'm not satisfied with just truckers, and a lot of the truckers I was talking to were saying that, because I was interviewing some people and asking them, hey, truckers, like, what can Canadians do to better support you? And they were all like, well, it's not really about us. This is about everyone. This is about getting freedom back. So it's like, yeah, like just repealing the mandate for truckers is like, no, you misunderstood. Like, we want to go back to normal, and it's time, and we're just kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back.
I think this is more than what we could have anticipated from the first day. Well, I mean, you could count yesterday, but today was kind of like the official day of Occupy Ottawa. This is way more than we could have hoped for on the first day, at least I would say. Especially because we had the medical officer of health for Ontario, Vladimir Lenin. He had come out and said we need to start focusing on life with COVID as opposed to trying to lock everybody down like caged animals every few months.
Yeah, it's more and more. Another trucker was saying how the division is more and more between the government and everybody else, and more it's everybody else is saying, yeah, we're not down with this, and the only people who are enforcing this is the government or bureaucrats or like very specific people in very specific roles, and then all the news media seems to be supporting them too for some reason.
On a lighter note, I was during the break there between the two sets, I did come across a CTV stream. It was a live stream of one of the reporters, and I was kind of shocked to hear what he actually said. I think the message is getting through, and some of them are starting to actually kind of change their narrative.
Actually, I think since Pierre Poilievre came out and said he had said that the mainstream media does an excellent job of whenever there's like anything right-leaning demonstrating that they pick through everything, and so on and so forth. So everybody had seen that yesterday. I think you started seeing things change like right after that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to play some
and
of
the
that,
way
Chris?
that's set up is even kind of deceiving, because if that area wasn't caged off, it'd be filled with people, right?
Yes, it would.
Yeah, on either side of the hill, they kind of had these kind of caged off areas, and it was just filled with like media people and cops, and they're just like looking down at us.
Listen to what he's saying right here.
I actually, I can't hear it, but if it's going to the stream, then
I can't hear it either.
Yeah.
Okay, I must be having a bit of an audio issue for me, because I can hear your guys' video clips, no problem. Well, he's going on and he's explaining how the crowd seems to be very civil. This seems to be more about government overreach and the mandates, and he's actually explaining the things we've been talking about.
Yeah, he's getting fired. He's gonna get fired.
Probably, but good on him. Great job, dude. Gotta make sacrifices. But no, it's just I'm watching it and I was like, oh my goodness, did he just say what I think he said? No way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really nice, and it goes on and on for a little bit there, but if I can't get audio, it's not really no point.
Mm-hmm. He's telling
Here, I have the clip here. I can bring it up on
wonderful.
my feed. So let's just pull him out of there, and I will You guys can keep chatting while I just pull this up on the screen.
We're pretty high tech here.
Yeah, really.
I do gotta run shortly, but
Okay.
Maybe I can ask you a question, Greg.
sure.
We've seen just in the last half hour, I saw some people talking about the Terry Fox memorial being defaced. Are you aware of that?
I saw a weird tweet that looked very kind of contrived and calculated, where it was like you're defacing the Terry Fox thing, and there's a war memorial something or other that happened, the war memorial, and then I forget what the third one was, but it just sounds like, I don't know.
Malarkey.
It's so easy to, you know, get a cameraman and to get a plant to, like, you know, create some sort of, you know, like the photo around in the morning was like, we found a Confederate flag. Oh, we found a Confederate flag. So the whole thing is the South will rise again. And it's like, I feel really bad for anybody watching the news who's like thinking, oh, look at this photo. It's just so dishonest.
Yeah.
But
It is dishonest.
but you know, I wasn't around the Terry Fox flag. I didn't meet anybody who was like anything other than just a sweet Canadian awesome person. You know what I mean? Like I didn't see anybody who opposed, like, yeah, I didn't see any of this. I didn't see any of this whatsoever. And it, like, you would have to look very, very hard for it. And what do you know? Not only did the media find it, but that's all they're talking about. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
this is why it's very important that we've done this.
Hold on. I actually have a friend in the room here with me, and he just sent me, or he's showing me a photo that was from today,
Right.
which
Oh.
is, hold on, let's get the glare off.
There's Terry.
There's Terry Fox. It says Mandate Freedom, and he's holding the Canadian flag. Oh, yeah. Okay, there you go. There you go. Beautiful.
That's like the least defaced statue I've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. The swastika. Oh, Canadian.
There it is.
It's like just last summer they were pouring red paint all over statues and stuff like that.
Well, tearing them down, just ripping them down.
And this is
Yeah.
defacing a statue.
Yeah. And that was today, huh?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Cool. I can't wait, dude. I can't wait to see all the photos and content that's going to come from this day. Like, there were so many signs. There were so many. Wow. I got
Just
some really good interviews. I'm excited to cut it all up and everything. But
Just
yeah,
before you
I'm going to
came
take
on-
my leave unless you have anything else for me. But
Oh no, that is all. I really appreciate you coming on. It was very excellent, and I'm glad you're safe. I know you had a late drive and early arrival, and it's
Yeah.
been very cold. So
Yeah. Are the good guys winning? That's the question.
well, I mean, that's such a big question, right? Because we really do live in this time where I actually thought of this protest like a modern kind of like battlefront in a sense, because you have cameras and you have microphones and you have kind of like media smear merchants, and it is kind of the information war is a big part of it. But at the end of the day, it's always politics, and politics has to do with getting a large group of people to follow something or agree upon something, and make decisions and have authority. And there was quite an authority of nationalists, or at least Canadians, who want freedom there. And they were all different colors from all different walks of life, and they all agreed on the same thing. And we have this situation now where the media has a lot of explaining to do. And I heard somebody else say it. It might have been Theo Fleury or somebody. Who was it who said this? It might have been Jeremy McKenzie, who is also known as Raging Dissident, but he is very, very powerful speaker. And he was talking about how, you know, we need to just let the media drown in their own lies, because the amount of trust that the Canadian public has in the news media is that needs to change. Like that needs to change, and I think this is going to be a huge moment to get that ball rolling. And somebody else said on the Hill today, yeah, this is just the beginning of a big movement. Like this is only going to grow from here.
The hornet's nest has been stirred.
Absolutely. And oh, by the way, before I go, I talked to all the truckers. I asked them another question. What do you really need from Justin Trudeau? Not one of them said just remove mandates. Pretty well every single one of them was just like, just step down, bro. Like, can you please just, you know. But I'm going to get out of your guys' hair. Have a good stream for the remainder. Thanks for inviting me, Brendan.
Absolutely.
Good to see you, Rick. Good to meet you, Chris. And
You as well.
Talk to you later.
You have a
Yes.
great day, sir.
See ya. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Greg Wycliffe, everybody. So pretty soon we'll be having our next guest on, and we're going to talk a little bit about how things have gone on the home front in Chatham, Ontario today. All over the country, I am hearing and seeing posts of people running different types of convoys and having different protests all over. So this isn't just in Ottawa. This is all over Canada.
I'm hearing reports of, I haven't seen any articles or any shots or anything, but I'm hearing reports of this happening in a lot of other countries too. Like as they're watching this, some convoys are starting up in other countries, which is really interesting. But again, I haven't seen it yet.
I did hear that after everything is done, there's going to be a convoy to Washington, D.C., and they're planning on operating it out of California to Washington.
Here's that clip. Did you want me to run some of that, Chris?
Yeah, by all means. Like I said, I was really shocked that he said what he said.
The frustration. Host of Power Play and CTV's Question Period, Evan Solomon, for us right there in the thick of things. Evan, good to see you. Kind of paint me a picture. I know you've been talking to a lot of people while you've been out there. What are you hearing and seeing?
Can't hear anything. The horns are too loud.
Well, we just came on Parliament Hill, so just give you a sense where we are. This is the West Block. That's the main part of Parliament Hill, where there's a lot of gatherings. This is called Wellington, and you can see beneath there all the trucks. We've been among the crowd, people holding signs. This is not China there. There's a lot of families here. There's a lot of people who don't like the media. And I've been speaking to them. I will tell you, most people here have been very civil. They have their strong views on vaccine mandates. There's concerns about the QR code, about government overreach, about media coverage. This has clearly morphed long from just a protest about the government rescinding its exemption for cross-border truckers. As you know, both the U.S. and Canada no longer have an exemption for truckers to pass the border. They need a vaccine, and they'd warned about this for months. That triggered this. Now it's become an 18-wheel vehicle of various political agendas. Frustration at mandates, frustration at the government. You've got different political movements loading up their ideas. Maxime Bernier from the People's Party will have a rally in about an hour and a bit. There's been conservative politicians who have supported it, liberal politicians who have distanced themselves from this. And there's lots of different people here. It is important to know, though, the organizers of the rally have been very explicit of their mandate. There's an organization called Canada Unity, which really started this. They published a memorandum of understanding that they're collecting signatures for that does call, essentially, and you can read it, it's not a conspiracy, for the overthrow of the elected officials. They want a new committee, they call it, between the unelected Senate, the Governor General, and Canada Unity to get rid of all the mandates and govern the country. Some of those folks behind the organization have been associated with Western separatists. Other organizers of part of the convoy have been openly talking about, hate speech. And then you get a lot of people here who are just very frustrated with the mandates. They want this to end. You talk to them, they don't know about that stuff. They're here because they want, quote, their freedom back. They've done their part. So there's a lot going on, and it's very difficult to generalize. But $7 million has been raised, and the organizers are in charge of it. So you got to
Yeah.
both follow the money and listen to the people. And sometimes there's a big difference there.
Okay, so that gives us a sense of
Yeah, that was the gist of it. But like more so the beginning, and he was like, "Wow," and then he kind of kept going on about the other stuff, which is, there is things happening, but it was just, I was shocked. I was like, "Wow," maybe all this independent media is applying pressure where the protesters can't.
yeah. We have some other guests joining us.
Welcome.
How are you?
Hi there. Great, Zoe. Why don't you introduce yourself first, and then we'll ask Brian to tell us who he is.
All right, sounds good. All right, I'm Zoe. I prefer to keep my last name undisclosed. I live in Chatham, Ontario, and Liz Valley actually was searching for somebody to have someone set up a convoy here in Chatham, and I decided I would do it, and it was very simple to organize, and everybody they spread the word so quickly. I was actually at the overpass on Kent Bridge on Thursday morning, seeing all the truckers drive by, and even there I had a bunch of people who didn't know about it from Facebook or from Instagram, and I just shared around there as well.
Okay, and let's get to Brian, because I think he's on a cell phone, and I want to make sure we get his perspective on things before his cell phone battery dies out or something catastrophic happens to his feed. Brian, your mic is muted at the moment.
Yes, hello.
There we go. Introduce yourself. Let us let the viewers know who you are.
All right, so I reside in the town of Warwick, Ontario. I'm in the commercial industry, and currently I am at one of a few staging areas for the convoy against the mandates.
And what are you seeing on the ground there, Brian?
Unity, to put it simply. The entire nation has come together and we're seeing the camp that we all love and deserve to live within.
And what's your personal situation? Are you facing job loss?
But not able to fulfill my job completely with the cross-border mandates. It has changed the way I work on a daily basis. So that's what's led us here to support.
Right. So your feed's breaking up a little bit, but I can fill in the blanks there. So you're saying that you're not losing your job completely, but you're not able to do all of the things you were able to do before because you're not able to cross the border. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. And what do you think this is making a difference? Or will it make a difference? Do you have the government in a position where you think change is actually going to happen?
Well, we're hoping for the change. If nothing else comes of this, I hope we continue to live every day with the unity that we've built in the last week or so, right across the nation. Coming up from the Sarnia area with the convoy, making our way to Ottawa, Canadians were so proud, lining the overpasses, the streets. It's been an absolutely incredible journey, and we're seeing just people are excited. They're happy. They're smiling. There's a lot of energy, something that we haven't seen for a couple of years or more.
What are your views on this vaccine passport, and vaccine passports in general, and the threat of job loss for people who don't get vaccinated? There are ethical questions here, and just share your thoughts on that and why it's important in your view to end this.
Well, there's these mandates have definitely created a lot of stress on on families, on businesses. As a father of two young children, with the world that we live in today, it's becoming very hard to work with having the schools open and closed. The small businesses, the restaurants are having a very hard time with trying to keep up and keep afloat while they work with these mandates that seem to just continually evolve.
So you're there in Ottawa. It's going down. I think I heard as low as minus 27 tonight. Are you sleeping in your truck?
No, we've got accommodations. Last night it was minus 30 or minus 31, and it's a different cold than I'm used to down in the south. That's for sure.
Right.
So, do you think that might work out for the best? We are hearing great reports about everybody's behavior has been pretty great over there. Do you think that'll continue through the night?
I don't see why not. Like I said, everyone here, with the convoy, the supporters, the civilians, everyone seems to be working together. My wife, family, and kids had gone down to Parliament Hill earlier in the day, and the energy was just electric. There was police presence, which is to be expected. Everyone was behaving. There was nothing going astray as far as tonight. We can hope that it maintains that positive flow and nothing gets out of hand.
But when you say police presence, you're talking about police directing traffic, making sure that everyone is safe. There really has been no clashing or conflict that I've seen between police and the public. It seems to be very civil.
Oh, absolutely civil. I guess to expand on the police presence, it is just that traffic control, making sure that the traffic continues to move as smoothly as possible with the increase in traffic. The pedestrian numbers are extremely high, so the police are just ensuring that traffic and the pedestrians coexist safely. And with having the extra police presence there, it keeps people a little calmer.
How long are you planning to stay? You drove up there. I think you've got your kids with you, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I've got both my young children with me. We'll either leave tomorrow or maybe even stay into Monday and continue to support these truck drivers.
Have you talked to anybody who's planning to stay for like a very long time, or can you give us a picture of how long some people may be staying?
Well, from what I've heard on the ground, there's several truckers that have said that this is enough, and when they've parked their truck is going to stay where it's parked until the changes are made.
Are things congested up there on Parliament Hill? Are is the protest?
So I think the majority
causing problems. Sorry, are there traffic problems or congestion up there?
Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, just wondering if there's a lot of traffic congestion around Parliament Hill. Is the protest causing any problems in that way, or is it all kind of
definitely congestion?
But they're not there trying to blockade anything, right? They're not trying to cause trouble, cause problems.
I think we're experiencing
we're losing his feed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think maybe we've lost you, Brian. It looks like his feed maybe is cut off. So we really appreciate Brian joining us and giving us a look at, his assessment of what's happening there in Ottawa. So Zoe, let's go back to you and talk a little bit about this convoy that you helped put together at the local level in Chatham, Ontario.
Sure. What do you want to know?
Well, tell us how many people were there. Was it well attended?
It was very well attended. I don't have an exact number of how many people were there, but there was probably easy 100 vehicles that were in there. And even as we were, for those who didn't know about it, they started, if it was in the second round or third round, they did attend. So easy 100 people that were in there, which is great for small town Chatham.
Right. So you had a route, and you were kind of going around and around a number of
Yeah,
times?
so we had a route, and it was just down in Chatham. So it was only we took the route 4 times, and everything went really well. It was about 2 hours long, probably in total, because we were going quite slow. But yeah, it was awesome.
What was one of the reasons that inspired you to go forward with doing this convoy on
Actually,
the home front?
I wanted to go to Ottawa this weekend, but my husband actually convinced me not to, and it would be more important for everybody, like all around, to do something local, because then it's not just everybody's in Ottawa, then everybody all over in their local towns everywhere is supporting this.
That's absolutely
Which
beautiful.
is great, because lots of people who could not make it to Ottawa then attended here in Chatham.
And
What was the response like on the street with other people?
Actually, there was lots of honking. Only very few people who gave us the finger, but you can always expect that. But it doesn't matter if they are or not, because regardless, everybody who is on board with it, we are fighting for everybody's freedoms, not people who are only on board.
Yes. So, so you had Canadian flags and.
Everybody had their vehicles decked out. I should have posted more photos so you could post them. We had probably, I want to say, five big pickup trucks that were not pickup trucks, transport trucks that had their vehicles decked out. Lots of people had flags or signs. There wasn't actually many people who were at the side of the road. I think that's because most of the people wanted to be in the actual convoy.
Mm-hmm. What do people want? I mean, we're talking in Ottawa. They're saying resign or get rid of all these mandates. What were you hearing from the other people who were in the convoy?
Everybody wants the mandates gone, and ideally, everybody would want Trudeau gone too. Here, everybody has had enough. Mm-hmm. We've been lied to, manipulated, and the story keeps changing, and everybody's tired.
Yep.
Yes. And sorry, go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who knows who isn't sick of this. Like, we're all so tired of it. Like, it's gotta go. Something has to give at some point.
And joining us now is Herbert Hildebrandt. Herbert, thank you for signing on. I know that it's been a challenge to get a good signal in Ottawa today, but you're up in the nation's capital. Can you give us just introduce yourself first of all to let people know who you are?
Hey, thanks for having me on. Can you hear me fine?
Yes.
I know the connection's been a little spotty here, but I think we're getting a little more successful in signing on. It's a good problem to have. There's that many people here. So yes, my father is actually Pastor Henry Hildebrandt, might be familiar to some of the viewers on your show from Aylmer, Ontario. And I'm here supporting him, and of course the truck drivers and everything that's happening here. Phenomenal to be on the ground. So thanks for having me.
No, it's really our privilege, and we're very grateful to you and to everyone up there for doing what you're doing, and especially to you now for giving us a sense of what's happening on the ground in Ottawa. Can you just give us a sense of what you've seen and heard out there today?
Yes, it's been a phenomenal day. I've christened it Vindication Weekend for those that love the truth. It was the picture you're showing right there, that boom truck. I was on that boom truck for a long time, taking in the crowds, watching them flow in and interact with each other. It's been a very successful, peaceful day. Just the spirit in the air is phenomenal. You cannot describe the camaraderie, the care for each other, people bringing in food, drinks, helping each other out. You'll see people go, person to person, door to door on the trucks. Do you need anything? Can I help you? People helping each other out on every level. It's the exact opposite of what we heard our Prime Minister say so despicably earlier this week. This is no fringe minority with unacceptable views. Rather, this is a silent, waking up majority with very caring and loving views of a normal, functioning society the way it was designed to be.
Yes. And the mood overall, it's one of, I guess, national pride, right? We see
It's national
Canadian
pride.
flags everywhere.
Yeah, it's national pride, celebration, exhilaration. It's an absolute national block party is what I would call it. It's family friendly. It's happy. People are excited. You really, it's hard to quantify. It was just I spent about 6 hours walking up and down, Parliament Hill, Wellington Street. Just came into thaw out a little bit ago. It's a wind chill of nearly -30 here, so it is cold, especially for someone from southwestern Ontario who's a little wimpy probably on the winter weather. But I found enough layers to stay warm, and that's what I did. I just walked up and down and just interact with people. Why are you here? Where are you from? What are we doing? What's the goal? And everybody has largely the same goal, which is something is wrong. This is not what we're doing is so wrong to people. We need to get rid of the people that are facilitating this across, whether that's Justin Trudeau. I would argue that that's just beginning. We need to this government needs to be removed. It's a tyrannical, unconstitutional government that spits in the face of everything that is just and true as far as our Constitution and the foundation of our nation. And that is what people are there for. They're not seditious, treasonous, traitorous people. These are people that want our country restored to the way it was founded.
You must have a certain warmth in your heart today, because when I think back over the past 2 years, and especially in the earliest days of this whole thing unfolding, I remember, the church in Elmer being targeted, other churches being targeted and demonized. And I think, members of the church being dehumanized by the media and some politicians. And to see this shift in the public mood and the support that is there, it must be very encouraging for you. It certainly is for me. I'm feeling much more optimistic now.
Rick, you can't imagine. You said it very well. My father and I climbed onto that boom truck earlier this morning, right about noonish, and we looked around at the sea of people and the feeling in the air, and we looked at each other, and I think we both had tears in our eyes, and we both said the same: this is the moment we've been waiting for. Not because of us, it's not about us, but this is what we were fighting for. It wasn't to fight so that we could do something or we could be free, but we wanted all of us to have that ability to do what we were created to do, right? And yes, the feeling of vindication and exhilaration to see that happening on a large scale, Rick, I'm not much of a shed the tear kind of person, but I've had a lot of goosebumps and tears moments this whole week, watching bridge after bridge of people, intersections in the prairies, all up and down the 401 in Ontario, seeing my hometown come out in droves when we've been vilified in the local media as being crazy, cultish, outlandish, grandma killers, right? And these are the words that they've used when we're anything but any of that. But still, to see today, I was like, you know what? We're not alone. This is it. This is the movement we have been waiting for. Canadians, as passive as we can be sometimes, and largely apathetic, unfortunately, have woken up, and we're going to take this country back.
we've had an excellent first day here today, where the premier of Saskatchewan has come out and stated that they are going to drop the vaccine mandate, and have stated in their official release that the vaccine does not stop the spread of COVID-19. Do you think we're going to get more similar results? Is this the first domino in many to fall?
I really believe so. I don't want to be, overly optimistic and foolishly optimistic, maybe, but I believe that the dominoes are beginning to fall. We saw, Premier Kenney making allusions to that, I think, already on Thursday. Now Scott Moe, like you said today. What really needs to happen is we need to see the Ontario Premier come out and do the same. Now, they did lay a bit of a groundwork yesterday. The Dr. Kieran Moore came out and said that we need to learn to live with the virus. So I was like, well, good first step. Keep it coming, By Monday, I want you to come out there and say, you know what we've done was foolish and didn't work. Let's stop this. And when the dominoes fall, even though we're here in Ottawa as a federal initiative, we want Trudeau out. That's just part of it, right? So we need to get the provinces on board, because when the provinces start falling piece by piece by piece, then it's over. Trudeau has very limited power, really, when he's got no support left, right? And when his cabinet ministers start feeling the heat, and we get the provinces on board, this part of the fight can be quickly over if they continue doing that. So I would not be surprised to see more out of BC and Manitoba in the coming hours and days, and then waiting for that big. Nova Scotia seems to have gone the opposite way. It was despicable to see that they're banning roadside support of truck convoys. I mean, that is, what a fascist thing to do.
Yes.
Like, really, I couldn't believe it. I started looking at what were the headlines in East Germany before they fell, because it seemed like one of those last grabs of power. Like, oh, you're going to support that? Fine, we'll put you in jail for it. It's like, well, now you've really doomed your days, because this is not sustainable. You can't take the right of people. And that's where I got to give a big shout out to the Ontario Provincial Police. The Ontario Provincial Police Association came out very early on and said that they were going to facilitate a smooth travel of the convoy, and I think they've held up their end of the bargain. As a matter of fact, I thought they went above and beyond. Even in Southwestern Ontario, where we are, they were really, really hands off. They were nice enough to even escort the truck convoy through our region safely, and allowed people to line the shoulder of the busiest freeway in the world, which they wouldn't have had to do, because I know there's a safety issue. So I see a real onboarding of the police in Ontario. I've had a lot of conversations with police officers here in Ottawa. They're from all over the province. We were seeing officers being brought in from London, York region, Durham region, Toronto. Basically every major police force in Ontario is now represented here in Ottawa as of this afternoon. And many of the officers, they told me straight in the face, they said, I'm happy to be here. This is very exciting to see. So there's others that, don't share that sentiment, but I've just kind of moved on, and I've found that there was a lot of them there that are, that are on board. So I think they're seeing
it. The scars will remain, though, for quite some time. And you say this is just this part of the fight. What comes even after this, in your estimation? I guess you feel we have to keep pushing, even if there's a victory that is won here?
I believe we would make a fatal mistake not to capitalize on this show of unity and force in Canada, not to push for a systematic reform of how we do government. I think if we don't do that, we are making a grave error. There has to be a fundamental shift in how our country is governed. There needs to be a return to participatory democracy, not representative. We have to be able to participate actively, locally. We need a much larger devolution of powers to municipalities and places where we live and can influence it on a daily basis. We're far, far, far too centrally focused and seeing every decision coming from Ottawa largely. That's a big mistake. And we're seeing what we are paying for that now, because I believe, I don't know how you feel, but I read the books from the WEF. I know what is out there, what the elite is looking for. And we are pivoting to a massive climate change, push where they don't really care about climate change, but it's going to be a way to oppress people even further, restrict how much they drive, These are all things that they've said openly. They're not secrets. You can buy their books and read them. That's their next plan, because this is a humanist driven agenda that wants to control people and stray into all these spheres of sovereignty that were normally established, where the government does what it needs to do to facilitate the people, the church does what it needs to do to feed the spiritual health of the people, and the family is there to look out for the family unit and further their stable foundation of society. And that has all been blurred into one big, blob of government authority and control. And that is why we're in a big trouble. So those areas need to be reclaimed. The nuclear family needs to be reestablished as the model for the nation. That is the only way we can be successful. And we've seen that. And people say, well, that sounds discriminatory or racist. Well, I don't know what you call that, but that's what I call a successful country. That's what it actually is outlined in our Constitution. That's what our founders had in mind. We have to return to that. So when you say, is there more? Yes, I believe this is the first battle that we need to win decisively and move on and keep pushing back until we have a country that is once again fully free and at liberty to function and flourish.
That's very insightful. And there's a lot of complexity to that. I think it's sometimes difficult to get the general population to understand what is behind everything that you said and what's involved. How do you get that message out in a way that people can understand it and facilitate change?
I think it has got through this. It may have gotten a little easier. It's like you say, it's a difficult task, and most people, as human beings, our natural instinct most of the time is just to kind of bury our head in the sand, and it didn't affect me right now, and hopefully it's going to be okay, right? And I think that we should, leverage the awakening that we've seen during this COVID, level of tyranny, to go and say, look, this is what happened. We have to be we need to have a team of people, and that's something that I'm working on with groups, that the messaging needs to be very concise, clean, and clear in bite-sized pieces, why we got to where we are today. It wasn't just an emergency act and, COVID powers were enacted. It's what is attacking the foundation of our society. That's what is so vital in all of this. And where we are right now is actually terrifying. We are so close to a last call for freedom in this country that it's frightening to me. I was out on the street late last night, and I was looking at people, and I said, countries have gone from where we are right now and have gone over the brink in history, time and time again. And that's not an exaggeration. That's not fear-mongering. That's reality. We are so close to a nearly irreversible rush over the brink. And that's why we need to be very clear and concise in our messaging going forward. People like yourself, we need to focus on if and when we can win this battle, then we need to be more proactive than we have been. I think largely as a people and Canadians, we've been very reactive. Well, hopefully they don't mean that. Well, hopefully it'll be okay. Hopefully this will work, so I can just be, normal and do my daily business. And we have to be able to go out and above and beyond and keep pushing back, because the other side is very activist, and they have out-mobilized the side of truth largely for probably the better part of 2 to 3 decades. And that now is our opportunity with this group of people. And I've talked to many of the people out there today about this, and they see it, and they're beginning to understand. So we can't let this opportunity slide. We need to keep pushing.
Brendan, you had something you wanted to ask?
So, if they really cared about climate change, they definitely wouldn't want to have thousands of trucks mobilized. Like, especially they're big. They are big emitters of diesels, right? So, if they really did care about climate change, I don't think they would keep this up for too long.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't think
the question.
Right, exactly, and I don't think that is probably the ideal way to, do pollution. I'm all for having clean air, and the air around Parliament Hill probably isn't particularly clean right now. But sometimes things have to get worse before they get better, and I think that's where we are right now. It's like I told, it was interesting, Hannah Thibodeau, or whatever her name is, from CBC News, one of the senior correspondents, tweeted out and said, these demonstrators, in horror, don't have a permit for this. They're just coming to Parliament Hill without a permit. And I just tweeted back to her and I said, landlords don't need permits. This is our place. The tenants are trashing it. So we're bringing eviction notices and cleaning supplies. That's where we are now. And if we have to do that by running trucks day and night to wake them up, then we'll do that, whatever it takes. And then after that, we can go and shut the engines off and clean the air. But sometimes things just have to get a little worse before they get better.
So what's the plan there for you and the group that you're with tonight and I guess tomorrow too? What do you have planned?
So a lot of what's happening here is fluid because it's impossible to bring any semblance of control or order to this size of a crowd. These are tens and tens and tens of thousands of people. I would myself guess hundreds, but I don't know. It's hard to gauge a crowd. I would not be surprised to see 250,000 to 500,000 people have come into the city in the last 24 hours, judging by the amount of disruption, traffic, and people that you see. What we have to do is, what we're going to do, tomorrow morning, we're going for an 11 o'clock prayer for unity service. It'll be led by Pastor Henry Hildebrandt and many other faith leaders that are here. Everyone's invited. And it's going to be a collective time of prayer for the organizers, for those that will be negotiating next week, that'll be looking at other plans. There's a lot of people that are committed to staying here. Not everybody can stay all the time, but there'll be rotation in and out to keep the pressure on. If there is no change, in the next week, then I think you will see a large pivot to full border blockades across the country, where people split from here and go across the country and blockade the borders. If this doesn't get the attention of the elite, then we'll need to go and get the attention of the corporations that depend on cross-border traffic. If there's no traffic in and out of the automotive plants and a few other ones for a few days, they're going to start talking. That's just how that works.
So I remember. Go ahead, Brendan.
Before we finish, Zoe has been waiting here for some time, and I feel quite rude. So I did want to kind of finish off with you had sent me some video, and I wanted to share that with people so that they can see your. It was a pretty big convoy. It looks like by the size of it. You'd said it was over a couple hundred people or 100 people.
Probably about 100. I could be wrong.
And you're going to be keeping up with this, is that correct?
Yeah, actually, we will be going again next Saturday, and we will be continuing until all mandates are dropped or Trudeau gets kicked out. That
is absolutely epic. So if people want to join up with the next one next Saturday, where could they find your team?
So we'll actually be meeting at the Walmart parking lot. There is only one Walmart in Chatham. So we'll all be meeting there at 10 a.m. We will be going down St. Clair, and then we will be making a left on Grand, right on Communications, right on Park, right on Kyle, and right back onto Grand, and we'll make that loop twice, which will probably be about an hour and a half, another 2 hours long.
Okay. And what time is that being done at?
At 10 a.m. in the morning.
10 a.m. So 10 a.m. Walmart in Chatham. Be there. Be square.
That's right.
And Herbert will be looking in tomorrow on your service. At what time is your service tomorrow morning?
So it's at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Okay. I just want to say, listen to oh my goodness, listen to those horns. That's been going on all day?
Would you like to, I'll give you a little sense. We're on a side street here at the hotel. These are still people streaming into Ottawa that have not yet been able to find a parking spot. The convoy's been going literally for 8 hours. So I'm just going to give you a little view here if you want to get a sense for what it looks like as we walk on.
So this is just traffic outside the place where you're staying.
So there you can see the intersection. It's coming from all directions.
It's just jammed, eh? Look at that. You can't move. So you can't really get a sense of the scale, but you can see that nobody's moving. It's just gridlock. It's clogged.
I'll just step inside so I can actually hear something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think
How clear the feed is, but hopefully you got a little bit of a sense of what's going on.
Yes, we did. Thank
I
you
don't
for
think
that.
I don't think Justin Trudeau is going to sleep well tonight.
Well, he's already been, I think the helicopter took off just a little after lunch from Rideau Cottage and took him to Harrington Lake. Due to security reasons, they said they had to have him leave town.
Now, there are media reports, and I see people talking on social media saying that he's received death threats. Do you believe that?
Well, there's probably some deranged individual that's has threatened him. That's well possible. I don't know. I'll tell you, there's nobody here who's taking time to send him death threats from these kind of people. These are salt of the earth, middle class, average Canadians, if you want to call it that. I think they're great people. We just want to make a living. We want to be left alone. We want to raise our families. We want to do whatever, we've done. That's what we were created to do. That's the kind of people that you see out there. These are independent business owners, truck drivers, trying to make a living. These are the people funding our members of parliament. This is where the money is coming from. These aren't people that have Panama bank accounts and can skip the Canadian taxes. These are the people that actually file taxes like myself and pay through the nose for what we earn. That's the kind of people that are here. And if they want to say he's received death threats, well, I don't know. Who knows? With all the hate that they're spreading, I'm not surprised if somebody snaps and does that. I don't support that. I don't think we need to go about this violently. I think it should be very peaceful, but very resolute. It's time for this government to go, period.
And I have to say that's the way that all the members of your church have responded throughout this. Your father, in my view, is a national hero. He has been firm, but always peaceful. He has always chosen his words with extreme care. And he has been a true leader throughout this, even in the face of incredible adversity and vile attacks. And he has my respect and admiration. I think that he and everyone from your church are inspirational.
Well, thank you. You're very kind.
I don't say that lightly. It's. I think that you guys have been a cornerstone of the foundation of the country throughout this. And if we do get out of it, it's largely because of your efforts and the efforts of everyone in your church and your dad.
Well, again, you're very kind, Rick. We really believe that it's through it's all of us together. It's people like yourself. We all have a role to play. We're all doing what we can right now. We're uniting together, and it's not about us. It's not about me. It's not about, it's about bringing freedom back, not freedom just for the sake of freedom, but because that's what we were created to be, is free, happy beings that are free to worship God in the way that we feel that we should, free to be with our families, to flourish, to have happy ways to make a living, all of these things where we're not under an oppressive regime. And unfortunately, that's where we are. And I think that there's hope more than there ever has been now. Some days your faith gets a little weak. I'll admit that even mine has kind of wavered sometimes in the last few months, thinking, is there really a path out of this? Or is the only way really to flee this country and go elsewhere? As much as I love Canada, and I'll tell you, after yesterday night, walking the streets of Ottawa here downtown, I have never been more proud to be a Canadian as I am today, because I saw the real Canada. Call it a fringe, call it a minority, call it unacceptable. I love it, and I am so proud to be a part of it.
Here.
Yes. Well, before we wrap up, is there anything else you would like to add this evening? Anything you think we might have missed, or anything important that you think needs to be mentioned?
Well, I just want to thank you for what you're doing, because it's very important. I know many people can't be here. I think we all understand that what we're seeing here is just a slice of the population that would want to be here. And this is so important to give people a way to interact, to understand what's going on, spread the word. And I would like to just, for me, close with this part is, let's stay focused, stay united, stay peaceful, and God and the truth will prevail. History is our proof.
Herbert Hildebrandt, thank you so much for
your time,
sharing all of that with us
Appreciate
this
it.
evening.
Thank you all for having me. Have a great night. God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless you. Bye.
And Zoe, anything you'd like to add, or?
I was just wondering if anybody knows like a timeline when Trudeau will show up, or if he's going to show up.
My understanding, his 5-day quarantine started on Wednesday. So
Okay.
technically he should be back on Tuesday, because they do reconvene on Monday. So I'd imagine, I doubt, we will see him on Tuesday. So that would be my expectation.
Yes. And today, actually, that was the first on-the-ground report that we've heard. So a helicopter had left Trudeau's cottage where he stays at. So that seems to be the word on the ground. I mean, I doubt they would just have a helicopter show up there for no reason. They definitely took him and they ran.
So
And
my
Brendan, is this video that you have of the convoy in Chatham? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's what that is. Yeah.
Let's bring that up there. Maybe you can just, Zoe, tell us what we're looking at here.
All right. So actually, here is this is the parking lot in Walmart. Oh boy, me and my poor camera skills. Yeah, so right there, this is everybody lining up at the beginning. That's just probably half of them. That's only half. Like that's, I think right there is only about.
Look, they're all the way over here.
They're all the way over there. Like there was lots that were in a line, but there were even more that were just parked. And that I think was around 9:30 in the morning. Yeah, that was half an hour before we even had to leave, and lots more showed up after that.
And that was you even had semis there. Look at that. You had
Yeah,
one,
we had
two.
semis, we had lots of signs and flags, and it was. I can't even describe the experience. Like it would be nothing compared to Ottawa, of course, but it truly brought tears to my eyes. Just having so many people who support this movement, this group.
I'm very touched actually, because me and Rick had run some convoys in Chatham in the past summer, and it was not nearly as impressive as this.
Yeah,
I don't know, Brendan. I thought it was pretty impressive.
Well, this tops it, man. It tops it. It's even better.
It is. There you have a lot of people there, and I guess it's important to let people know this is not an anti-vax convoy, right? This is a
correct.
pro-freedom, pro-choice.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the way we want it here.
You got involved, but have you ever been political or politically minded or politically oriented before?
Well, you know what? To be quite honest, until it actually affects you, I was never really one to, at dinner time to talk about politics. That was never my thing. But, until it actually starts to affect you and what you can do and where you can go, yeah. Then I recently, well, not really recently, like since the very beginning of COVID, I was very skeptical of what it was. I was cautious, but very skeptical.
Because
I
things just didn't seem
do
to add up for
believe
you.
it's real.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe COVID is real, and it can be very scary and sad for people who do lose people. But it is I think, very, you know, the media, they like to overcompensate, I guess you could say. I don't think the numbers are correct at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that, or do you think you took your freedoms for granted like a lot of other people?
Oh, 100%. Like you don't know what you have until people start taking away a little bit at a time. Like, oh, it's just going to be 2 weeks to flatten the curve till 2 years later, and oh, it's only going to be 70% people that need to get vaccinated. To the only way we're going to get out of this is to get everybody vaccinated, and then it's only going to be 2 doses, and then it's going to be add booster shots, and there was no way out.
No, because remember, Canada is not a country of mandating vaccines.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they did say that, right? And it
Yeah,
seems
right
like all the
from
way along the
JT's
line,
mouth.
yeah.
No, Justin Trudeau did say that in
He
the
did say
past
it.
year. He goes, Canada is not a country that mandates vaccines.
No, but now we
I
are.
mean,
Now
we are.
Guess again, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And thank your truckers, but not now.
Yes,
Zero to zero.
and your frontline workers, and your nurses, except
But
for the
we're
ones
gonna
we just
fire them.
fired. Yeah,
Yeah.
we just kept them around long enough to fire 10 or 20% of them.
Yeah.
Talk about abusing your labor force.
Yes.
Well, that's really the word that's operative there is abuse.
No pension for you. No pension for you. Man, we're saving money.
Yeah.
No severance.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is making a difference at the local level? Are you changing minds and winning hearts?
I don't know. I want to say I hope so, because we need it. But I know Chatham already is the lowest vaccinated community.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
I am fairly certain that we are the lowest vaccinated community. There are lots of people who are not for it at all.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Zira, you guys should all be dead.
Yeah, I know, right?
just like Florida.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, look at we're still standing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that made me laugh, Chris. That was good.
Yeah.
You should all be dead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad you're here. This is great.
Yeah.
And so, if somebody does want to get involved, Brendan kind of got the details on the next one, which is next Saturday. You're doing another
Yes.
local convoy.
Yes.
And do you have a Facebook page or someplace where people can go to get information?
Yeah, I do have a Facebook page. I just, anybody, if you search up Zoe Buck, that's my name. Just go. You can add me if you want to. I will accept friend requests as long as this is, as long as people don't send me hate mail. That's perfectly fine. I've gotten lots of those.
I think I've got some of that over here on the right side of my screen right now for me.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to skip over some of that.
Yeah.
There's a fella named Matt out there, and Rick Walker made him cry today.
Oh.
Well, I didn't mean to make him cry. I told him I love him.
That's true.
I did.
Just trying to educate him.
Well, you know.
If anybody gives you any problem, you let us
We were
know.
just debating, and honestly, he was at a bit of a disadvantage. He only had text. I could sit here with my microphone, so I had the upper hand, I have to admit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I
I've already been called a racist this week.
Oh, yes. Is that all?
Oh, that's just the nice
It's nothing.
version.
Yeah, really.
But you've made a lot of new friends too, though, I bet, in just the last few days.
Yes. People were very happy that somebody stepped up and did create a convoy here in Chatham, because people they really did want to go to Ottawa, but they had, work, or they had kids, or they didn't have a vehicle to travel there. So they were happy that they could be a part of this.
Mm-hmm. Is the fear subsiding out there, do you think?
Is the fear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as far as I know, a lot of people never really cared. So people were just happy to finally be a part of something that could support the truckers. I do have some followers on Facebook that they are you know, the only way to get out of this is gonna get to be vaccinated. So get vaccinated, and you know, you gotta laugh them off. Love them anyway.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And you know, that's been the message across the board. We've talked to a lot of people over the past 2 days, and that's been the message across the board.
Yeah.
Just gotta love them anyway. It's like this.
Yeah.
Kill them with kindness.
Yeah.
And even now, I mean, look at the crowds out there. What are we looking at here, Chris? What is this feed?
This is the same feed that we were following earlier, Live Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
It is from...
Is negative 30.
Is VidStorm is doing this. They've been doing a stream for quite a few hours, either several of them or it's been one continuous. So I've been just kind of checking back in on it. Currently, this is one of the only ones that's actually currently live right now, other than amalgamations and collages of other feeds and stuff, kind of similar to what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt that would just kind of overlayer everything.
Yeah. So yeah, we have some people on the ground there, and we have feeds coming in, and you know we're sharing a lot of this with everyone, and I'm amazed at how many people have tuned in, showing my age again, to watch these broadcasts we've been doing, and I hope that what we're doing is serving people well. We are doing this because the mainstream media really, for the most part, seems to have some sort of an agenda.
Yeah.
At every turn, and we want to make sure that people are just given as transparent a presentation as possible, so that they get an accurate picture of what's going on.
Yeah.
Shout out to CTV though for what they did today. So that was really phenomenal.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd go as far as phenomenal, but
I actually think that was CTV with that reporter.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
CTV,
that's what I said. CTV. Yeah.
I said CBC. I was like, whoa, careful now. Careful.
I almost did.
I think that was a fair assessment. I think that was
I agree.
a fair report. And
That's what it's all about.
That's all you can ever ask, right?
Yes.
That's really all you can ever ask for, and that I thought that was a good piece of journalism. He was fair and balanced, and I think he was thorough in his assessment. So he may have to join us on this broadcast next week.
All right, that sounds great.
Zoe, thank you very much. Just before we sign off, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Well, we
Keep
really
doing what you're doing.
Yeah, we really appreciate you coming on and letting us know what happened locally. And, you know, I'm sure we'll check back in with you as all of this unfolds over the next couple of days, this weekend, Sunday, Monday, and we'll see what happens next week as the standoff between the truckers and Justin Mr. Socks Trudeau, the Prime Minister. Thank you, Zoe.
All right,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Take care. Have a great night.
Thank you, Zoe.
Stay safe out there. Don't forget the logo. The slogan. The slogan, man. It's all about the slogan.
Well, that's not until the end of the stream.
I know.
So we do have Matt Cole coming on. He should be on here any minute now.
Awesome.
We can probably take a moment to poke through some of these comments here.
Definitely. While you do that, I shall return.
Okay. So I'll bring some of these up. Yeah, again, Canada's not a country that mandates vaccines yet.
Yeah.
And that's what we've seen all throughout this pandemic is the government saying one thing and then sometimes calling things conspiracy theories, only to then implement those very things that they said were conspiracy theories and would never happen.
Or maybe not so much implement them, but we can't really do this, but your employer could do whatever they want. That's been a big consistent that's been throughout the narrative.
And Ninth Citizen says, so ridiculous, it is an embarrassment that citizens fell for this narrative. And we talked about this a little bit last night, and it is difficult now for some people to come over to the other side to change their way of thinking on this because they're not just invested in it, in their head, but also emotionally and in their heart. They've embraced this whole idea of lockdowns and eradicating the virus and so on. And it's difficult for people to let go of that, I think, at this point. And we have Matt joining us. Matt, how are you?
Good, you?
Great. Can you introduce yourself and let people know who you are and what you're all about?
My name's Matt, and I'm a dispatcher for Little Rock Farm Trucking. I was driving for them before I came into the office, and came down here with one of I think 5 trucks we sent down here. So
That's amazing. So your farm organization has sent all 5 trucks out to Ottawa.
yeah, well we're a trucking company. It's actually called Little Rock Farm Trucking. It's kind of a weird name like that, but we're we sent 5 trucks. We custom deckled 2 trailers. One of them says they both say strong with a Canada flag in the middle and free on the one side, and this is our land with the Canadian flag on the other. And we did 2 trailers like that.
I think we have, if I would be allowed to pull, I think you had a image of your truck on Facebook, if I'm able to pull it up.
Yeah, if you can find it there. I think the one you might be looking at is that was one of our drivers, Jeff. He picked it up from the decals that day, and we were all excited to see it. And I snapped some photos of it, and it happened to be perfect with the weather and all that.
So while Brendan is looking for that, can you tell us where you are and kind of what you're doing down there?
Yeah, well, I came down early this morning because I'm the local guy, so I had to still work yesterday. So I left early this morning with one of my drivers and a friend of mine in a pickup. We met a bus that came out of Owen Sound, and they came out, and as we made stops, more and more people jumped into our little convoy. And we came out here, and I'm right beside a ballpark, actually, kind of about 10 minutes with traffic, of course, right now down to Parliament Hill. But there's a staging area, and this is all bobtail trucks, so trucks with no trailers. And they've got food here that they're giving the drivers free of charge. They got a bonfire going. They have music going. I've heard that all the food here has been donated, and there's a lot of it. Just from, I'll just kind of pan around here for a second.
Sure.
But all those trucks you're seeing kind of right there, just right there alone, there's probably 50 trucks. And this parking lot, that's probably only an eighth of what's in this parking lot.
And that's an important point, because all the attention is focused on Parliament Hill, but to get a true sense of the scope and size of this, you really need to look at the whole city and even outside the city, because in order to keep traffic moving and not really shut the city down, they've been directing traffic and moving trucks to certain areas to park them. And I heard they even have trucks out of the airport and so on. So this thing is really spread out. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, from what I gathered, from what we're hearing is there's well over 100,000 trucks possibly in the city alone, and then potentially just as much outside of the city. And there's actually farmers in around Ottawa that have cleared off farmers their fields so they can park in the field. And when I got here earlier, we once we got dressed up because it was really cold, we went downtown, and it is packed down there with trucks and cars and people, and the scope of it is I can't describe it. The amount of people that's here already, the amount of trucks, it's just unbelievable. It blows my mind. And when we were coming in through on the 17 here in Ottawa, there was traffic. There's a lot of traffic, and I've never seen so many people happy to be in traffic. It's just unreal. No one was cutting anyone off. People were letting people in. They were honking the horns, and just to see everyone happy again, and the people on the bridges just blew my mind. Like, I've never seen so many people happy to see truckers in my life. It really made me feel proud to be a trucker.
That was a question that was on my mind was, are you upsetting people? Is the city being shut down? Are things being disrupted? Are you keeping people on side with you, or generating support or losing support? Because if businesses are disrupted, if the city gets too jammed up and people can't get around and it hurts people, you might lose support, right? And that's why we were seeing from the beginning some groups, even the Canadian Trucking Alliance, saying, you know, we don't support this, we don't support blockades, we don't support, you know, but you're not blockading anything.
No, and you know what? The police, I've seen RCMP, I've seen Ottawa Police, I've seen OPP. They've been phenomenal. They've been phenomenal, believe it or not, and they're just, you know, sitting there directing traffic. They're even the people, like the amount of people. I bet you there was usually 500,000 people down when we walked in Parliament. Like, we couldn't get down to the main part in Central because it was so packed, and people were so nice. They were very respectful to people with kids. You know, helping people out of the way. You know, you think you're going to walk in front of someone and you both stop and apologize and let each other go. Like, it's a true Canadian protest is what it is. We're all very apologetic, but, you know, there is some frustration with people. You know, we just, like, the city went from 1 million to potentially 5, 6, 7 million, and it's going to cause disruption. It's going to cause annoyance of people, but, you know, this is something that's got to be historic worldwide. The world's looking at us, watching us, and you know, it's yeah, it can be frustrating. I can understand people, but we need to do this. We need to set the mandate and figure this out and move on.
Yesterday, I said that this is sort of a modern form of warfare, and this is, you know, this is the front line in a way, and this is a very Canadian way to fight a war, a modern war. It's peaceful. It's being fought through protest and through people exercising their right to free speech, and I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, you know, it's been good. I think there's a lot of mixed stuff out there that's kind of making people think that this is that we're here to, you know, bombard the Parliament building. We're not here to do that.
No.
We're here in masses, and the convoy of people who organize this is blown up like they've never seen. Like, the organization that they've thrown into this last minute. Yeah, there's some weird stuff and whatever and last minute changes, but what they've done and what they've used the GoFundMe page to help do here is just, it's mind-boggling how well it's been going. And people have been good. People have been, you know, peaceful. And, you know, the truckers are like, I mean, I'm now in office, but, you know, we decided to come here because we can make a difference. We can make a difference. We can afford to do that. And, you know, the hospitals with the nurses and doctors, they need to be at the front line because they need to take care of these people. So we're doing it for them. We're doing it for the teachers who've got to teach our kids. We're doing this for everyone because we have the ability to do this. And, you know, it's amazing. Like, for me to be a part of history like this was my goal. This is going to be historic, and I wanted to be here, and I wanted to hopefully be that change for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And we're so lucky for you to be able to share that with all of us here, and getting in contact with you, like you've been like top notch. Like, I can't appreciate that enough. I was able to pull a TikTok.
Oh yeah. There's a few out there that have seen us here, out there of a few of our trucks here. But
can I ask you a question about tonight? It's going to get really cold.
Oh man, it's cold. It's cold already.
A huge number of people there. Are people able to find accommodations? Is there any concern about people maybe needing to sleep in their vehicles through the cold or anything like that tonight?
Hotels are packed here. I mean, I don't think the hotels in any city are ready for a sudden onset of potentially a couple million people. They're not, right? I had a friend last minute, 11 o'clock, decide to leave Hamilton, and he ended up meeting me on the highway, and he just come up, and he just left about an hour ago. He just wanted to come up, spend a few hours to say, you know, my voice is heard, and went back. And the bus that followed me up, they were leaving at 6 and going back. So some of these people are going back. I know one of the friends that came with me, he was able to grab a hotel, you know, the day before. There's still some hotels available, but they're going up quick. But it is cold. Like, it's very cold here. The temperature I don't think is right. They're saying it's minus 13, feeling like minus 20. It is not. You can't go and walk around with just jeans and a jacket on. You need to be buttoned up. It's very, very, very cold. I wouldn't be surprised if it feels more like minus 30, minus 35. And I kind of chuckled earlier today because this is, only Canadians would do a protest when it's minus 35 out.
Exactly. I think that just shows what conviction there is here, how determined people are.
Yeah. And the funny thing is the Rideau Canal's right there. You know how many people we're seeing walking by and going skating? Their family's here and they're going skating while they're here. They're making a trip of it, and it's kind of cool. Like some of the people, like I'm very fortunate to work for these guys, and my bosses. It was amazing to see the support and the thrive, and this is their idea. They wanted to come, and I was on board. And 90% of my local work is off of the production line or on demand right onto our trailers. So I'd love to send more drivers, but I still gotta move stuff, and so I'm here for those drivers, right? But my bosses, the son's here with his kids and young kids, and his sister's here with their kids, and there's kids here. They brought their kids. They're having fun. They're staying warm, and it's a family affair. I've seen a lot of kids here, and they're very in awe of these trucks, and it's kind of cool.
That is the sense that I've been able to kind of skim off this, is that it is sort of a family atmosphere.
Yep.
It feels to me from where I sit almost like a convention type of atmosphere, right? Like you're heading off to some big event, a show or something, and you kind of go down to the event or the convention, and then you go skating.
Exactly, yeah. And the
hey,
funny
Rick,
thing,
if you want to bring up my screen share, if you could.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thanks. Sorry.
Yeah, that was me this morning. You found it.
Yep.
So, funny thing behind that, when we left this morning, it was minus 30 with the truck sitting still in Walkerton. It was cold. It was cold. We put the stuff in the truck and tried to not stay in the outside very long on that. But you know what? I wish everyone could be here. I really do. But not everyone can. They're sending the support and love along the way. It's nice to see these truckers from all over, from Canada. I haven't met too many because it's a whirlwind of everything that's going on here. And you know what? I'm glad that things have been peaceful so far, and I hope they stay that way because we don't need to be I don't even know how to try the word. We don't need to be harmful. We don't need to be very forceful. We just need to be here, and being here, being happy. We've been kind of in this state for 2 years. People, you put a trucker in a truck by themselves for a long time, they have a lot of time to think. And reference to everyone here, we've been locked down for 2 years. We've had a lot of time to think, and we've had a lot of people are having mental problems and they don't realize it. And once this stuff started rolling and other people started seeing that, I'm the exact same, like these people have the exact same feelings that I do. I'm not alone in this. And that's what people are doing, is they're waking up, realizing that it's okay. They're fine. They're not, they're not feeling alone in this. They're not alone in this. And they're coming together and being happy again and feeling huge weight off their shoulders and being out there for everyone and supporting and the smiles on people's faces. It's really good thing to see again. It's very heartwarming.
So
I just
sorry,
had
go ahead,
a question for you. I was when I was looking up for your truck there.
Yeah.
I did see that you're having some difficulty with You had some difficulties getting groceries. Can you tell us about that?
I mean, I haven't had any difficulty getting groceries. We actually had, like, through the week at Little Rock, we've had people come in and give us food like it's going out of style. And we had, and just coming in and just being like, you know, here's food for your weekend. Thank you for doing this and everything. And we had a nice couple come in and they gave us sandwiches and for me to take down. And the bus, you know, we had the bus that was following us, and I had these sandwiches, and we stopped at the one fuel place, and I said to my boss, I said, you guys, are you good with food? Like, do we need more food and everything like that? And he said, we got lots. He said, we brought lots, but they're giving a lot of, you know, food out and whatnot. And I said, well, what do I do with these sandwiches? And we just decided to give them to everyone on the bus. So, like, there were 38 people on the bus, and I walked on. I said, you know, we've got this. Here's some sandwiches for you guys. And they were floored, and it gave them a little meal on the bus and stuff like that. But, you know, I don't know firsthand on groceries. You know, groceries are still being moved. There's still a lot of drivers out there that aren't here that aren't moving food. You know, a lot of the photos you're seeing is just bad timing. Grocery stores are short-handed. My mom's boyfriend is a manager at Walmart, and he said, yeah, we're short-staffed. And some days, you know, products come in and we just can't get them on the shelves fast enough. But
that would make sense too, because, you know, like, generally they have a rolling staff, right? So when the shelves are being stocked, the main population isn't in the store, it's at night. So we don't usually see those empty shelves.
Right. And, you know, if you go, a lot of people go grocery shopping, right? And you go grocery shopping in, like, at the end of like on a Saturday, you know, everyone, of course it's going to be empty because everyone's going, right? But I mean, as for the Facebook post that I put earlier, it was just kind of a funny, you know, joke because, you know, all these people are ascending and you're seeing all these locals. And I mean, for someone to say, you know what, I'm going to get groceries on a Saturday, I think you might have wanted to grab them earlier because you're going to have a tough time trying to get around. So, and it's busy here. It's very busy, but it feels very good. It feels very good again.
Well, we're really only into
very, very hopeful.
Yeah, we're really only into the second day of this, though, and it's fairly clear that the Prime Minister is digging in his heels on this a bit, and he's saying that he's not going to back down. So we're facing a bit of a standoff. Do you think that the resiliency is there to get this thing done?
I think it is because we are so united right now. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. Like a friend of mine said, when was the last time Canada has come together like this? You know, and he references when Terry Fox run. Like, we haven't been this united in a very, very, very long time. And I think, pardon me, I think Mr. Trudeau needs to realize this. He needs to realize this, that he has a country very united right now. And he needs to act on this. He needs to be smart on it, and he needs to take full advantage of it, not just dig in his heels. He needs to be a leader. He needs to see what his people are putting in front of him. And yeah, there's going to be a majority who agree with what he's doing right now. But you can't go with horse blinders of what's going on right now in this city. You can't. We're so united, and to take that away from us right now, that's wrong. Like, the country needs unity and to build each other up and be there for each other, and we're at that right now, and it's only going to get stronger. And,
well, what would you say to the people who say that we can't lift these mandates, that, you know, public health, public safety is at stake?
See, it kind of bothered me when he said that, and you know, some of the other, you know, MPs are saying that these vaccines are the safe way of putting are the answers to putting stuff on shelves again. It's not. You know, for me as a dispatcher, I'll give a great point of view here. As me as a dispatcher here, I'm local, so I get a lot of stuff that's already set in stone. Yeah. But the highway guys, we get emails, you know, daily lists of 20, 30, 40 loads from multiple people saying, "Can you help us move this? Can you help us move this?" And it's not Canada only stuff. It's stuff crossing border. Like there's, I'm gonna say that there's well over 50,000 truck shortage to begin with, and then you're throwing this into the mix. Like we were the unsung heroes when this started. What's changed? We don't see a lot of people. These guys spend hours on the road doing miles by themselves. They get to a customer. Sometimes these guys sit for 4 or 5 hours, with refrigerant stuff, and they don't get the appreciation that, they're like, we had one guy this summer. He was gone away for 3.5 weeks just because we're trying to move stuff. And, and that's not too often with our guys. Usually it's a 2-week turnaround or less, but he did it, and he sat at these customers and we're having, there's so much loads out there that cannot be covered. And this is only making it worse. Like, I understand if you want to do this, but this is this is an industry that the world thrives off truckers. If a trucker if you have it, a trucker brought it. If you ate, thank a farmer type thing. And, there's loads out there that, the industry is in a lot of trouble, And I think this needs to be reversed here, and we can get it back on track. If he reverses this and we dig in our heels, this will get all back on track, and to something better a lot faster than people think. But we can do this. He just needs to give us the go and say, okay, you know what? Give her. Fix this.
And it's really not just about the truckers, though, right? This is about vaccine mandates sort of across the board, and you're there to help other Canadians who are also losing their jobs.
Yep. And this is the reason for this protest. It's not the vaccine. It's the mandates. It's the requiring it to do your job. Like, you should never have to lose your job over something like this. You shouldn't. Like, this is a livelihood. People who work, like, I actually had, for example, one of my drivers, he was supposed to be going a highway driver, and he started off local here, and he wanted to get he's like, I don't want to get my shot. He said, I just spent all this money to get my AZ, and if something happens to me, I have an adverse reaction, for example, they pull my license, I just threw away $10,000-$15,000, and I have to go for a new career, right? And he went and did it anyways, but he didn't want to. But he this is his job, and that you should never have to do that. You should never have to do that. You shouldn't have to pick. You shouldn't have to be forced to get something like this just to go shopping for groceries. That's what it is. This isn't about the mandate. This isn't about vaccine passing. It's the mandate. This is what it's about.
That's another good point you made. Like, becoming a trucker isn't an easy route to take on its own. Like, it incurs a huge financial burden and also educational one. Like, there's lots to learn.
Yeah, and we, as you get older, we require physicals. Like, we have to go for a physical every 3 years. Sometimes, well, I think it's 3 years. It could change. Sometimes it's 5. But the older you get, you have to go sooner and sooner. And if my dad's actually diabetic, and he has to go every year. So we're not saying, here's your license, go. The government is making sure we're fit to drive. And if we're not fit to drive, they pull our license. Like, we are so regulated that we're constantly having to jump through hoops and make changes. And this is the one that, broke the camel's back. It's just it's very hard to overcome on this one.
A lot of people aren't understanding that either. They're just so pinpoint focused on the semantics and not the overall picture of what's actually happening.
Yeah, and you're right on that, and I'm hoping this puts a whole new perspective on it. Like, there are vaxxed and unvaxxed people here, left, right, center.
Yep.
Like, and we're all united here, and we're not, we're not different. We're trying to reverse the dividing of people here. That's what we're trying to do. Is we're trying to reverse it. We're trying to make everyone one and not divide everyone.
And division is what we've been seeing come directly from the prime minister, his choice of words, unacceptable views, the demonizing of the unvaccinated,
It's
the
almost hate speech.
the scapegoating that's going on. That's what we're seeing from the prime minister. Do you have any thoughts on that, Matt?
Yeah, I gotta bite my tongue on a lot of that because some of that stuff really gets to me, but it's one of those things where I just gotta let it go because he's behind a camera and I can't go up to him and talk to him and say he's different, he's wrong. I don't have that, right? We talk about it and friends and all that kind of stuff, but I feel like he's kind of scrambling the last little while, and he's saying stuff here that he's being caught off guard, and he's saying stuff like kind of off his heart, or I don't want to say off his heart, but he's saying something that he truly believes, and it's kind of backlashing here. Like, you don't divide people. You don't. Like, I mean, we're stronger united than we are divided. There's no doubt about it. And to downplay people or call people names or segregate people publicly, like, you're a leader. You're a leader of a country. You don't do that. Like, you're supposed to lead your people. I know you're supposed to keep them safe as well, but you're supposed to lead and be there. Like, a good leader is working alongside of you and helping you out. And I've been in managerial positions, and I'm right in there with those workers, and that's what you're supposed to do. Is you're supposed to lead them and work with them and not against them. And I feel like that's what he's been doing lately. He's working against the people, and
even when he works with them, he's still working against them because he'll show up with a shovel and fill one sandbag and say and do it on camera and I am helping my country. It is so beautiful.
Yeah, and as you're throwing these videos up here, like, I don't know what time of day these. I don't know if they're live right now or not, but what you're seeing is exactly that. This time of night, you're seeing these people. Like, there's cameras, there's family. Look at the kids right there, walking there, and this is it. It's total calmness. Like, there's a lot of police on the hill and behind fences, and people are yelling at them saying thank you, and they're laughing at each other, and they're standing around. They don't look tense, and exactly what you're seeing in these videos is what's going on right now. And I'm glad there's phones everywhere that have cameras, so we can put perspective for these people of what they're seeing, and for people that are at home, because exactly what you're seeing here is what it is. There's an abundance of peace right now downtown.
Yeah,
I think things were very close to being portrayed that way almost, but you guys really did a bang up job out there. Like, everybody that was there, like.
And there's still a lot more to come, right? This weekend. So what are your plans for, like, tomorrow and even into next week?
Well, see, I come out here. I brought one of these custom trailers. I don't know how long they're staying, but that's not a worry because there's a lot of guys here that are bobtail that we could probably get them to bring their trailer back. But I have to get back tomorrow because I got to go back to the grind on Monday and get back to work and still get stuff moving and whatnot. And so, but tomorrow I think there's speeches and stuff like that, and there's a lot of stuff going on and whatnot. But it's, I'm just a little grain of sand in this pile, right? I'm just one guy in a large group, and we're just here doing what's on our hearts and what we have a strive for, and it's come together, and we've all come together on this, and where a lot of pieces of the puzzle come together very fast, very well here.
Is there a sort of core group of truck drivers there that are the ones who are likely to stay for the long haul? Some people saying they're going to stay until they get what they're demanding.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of guys from the West. We've heard that they're staying until stuff gets changed. And hey, I'm hoping they do that because we're digging in our heels. If he wants to dig in his heels, we're digging ours in farther. And we want something like, don't run and hide, address the situation. Let's figure this out. We're men and women in this situation that have the backbone. Let's sit down and talk.
Mm-hmm. And so tomorrow's speeches and all of that, you're heading out of there.
Yeah.
What I've heard that some speeches are being even moved to Monday.
Yeah.
Because some guys are still on their way from out west.
Well, the West convoy got, from what we've been hearing in Facebook and everything, it got so big that these departure and arrival times, they were they changed. They changed a lot. And I'm pretty sure they were supposed to leave Arnprior outside of Ottawa at I thought it was 10:30, 11 o'clock, and they were late leaving. But there were so many of them. It's not like you can park. It's not like you can park. Just a second here. Someone's giving me something. I'm 5 minutes away from here. So yeah, here we are. Random people are inviting us into our home to shower and laundry. That's unexpected. That's just unreal.
Yeah.
Someone said, I'm 5 minutes away, shower and laundry. Here's my phone number, whatever you need.
Peaches and cream.
Yeah, that literally just happened right here as we were chatting. Right? It's just unreal, but
wow. Yeah, we just lost your audio there, Matt.
Are we good there?
There we go. Yeah, you're back.
That convoy was so big that it got delayed, and it took time for them to roll in, and it delayed everything. They had to push back stuff, and I think they were supposed to be in Ottawa by 12:30, and it ended up being a lot later. So I pushed stuff back. So I don't know. I showed up. My boss was here. We piled into a vehicle. We went downtown, and as for anything like that, it's as it comes is what it is. We're here to see how it goes and turns out. I don't know the full details and where and everything is happening, but yeah, it's happening.
It feels very Canadian to me.
Oh, agreed. Yeah. We're being very good and polite to each other. It's minus 30. I've never seen so many flat hats in my life, and Carhartt or whatever tough duck jackets, and snow boots and snowmobile suits, and I've never seen so much of that in my life. Food, coffee. I think there was one clip circling around where this guy had a box of Tim's coffee, and he was just going truck to truck to truck filling their coffee. What more? That's a Canadian thing right there, right? The only thing we're missing is a beaver and a moose, but I'm not counting that out yet.
Have you seen Bob and Doug McKenzie down there?
No, I've seen a lot of people, but I haven't seen them. I know that I did hear that the Senators were supposed to be playing the Ducks, and the Ducks I think had a hotel downtown, and they ended up switching hotels. So that I can't imagine having a hockey game down the road in Canada while this is going on. Talk about adding more traffic to the city.
Well, they make a lot of money, those hockey players. So what's no protest, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't Saturday, if they were here a day earlier, it would have been great to see a few of them around. But at the same time, they got to watch what they do, right?
That's true, too. They got contracts.
But
yeah,
so far, no politicians have come down there to talk to anybody that you've seen, or?
I haven't seen any. From what I see on social media, I think I think I seen the PPC leader was down. I think he was down here. I know he's here somewhere because it's been on social media that he was making his way here. I haven't seen him physically here. I think
We did.
Yeah, we
did
did.
you?
Yeah, we saw him.
Yeah.
Oh, right
Yeah.
on. I think I thought I heard rumors of Pierre's floating around here.
I saw clips of him talking to some truckers, but I'm not too sure if it was in Ottawa or outside of it or not.
Oh, okay.
I have a screen share of it actually. There.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
Right
He goes, let me see here. So it says, truckers I've met today have been peaceful, kind, patriotic. I've not seen anyone dressed up in blackface or other racist costumes.
You know what? That guy, he's not afraid to, to hold anyone accountable. Yeah.
No, I love him.
Very
He's
good
great.
at that, right? And it doesn't matter who it is; he'll hold you accountable. It's kind of funny watching him. He's very comical.
Keep it going, Pierre, for sure.
He's a master of language, like plain and simple. Master of language.
Hey, I'm dumbfounded on some of the stuff that he says. I'm not hiding that. Like I don't know how he can come up with those words so fast. Like some of them, I got to go to the dictionary and figure out what in the world he said. I think I got an idea.
I love that.
For sure. Yeah.
I knew it
But
was
yeah,
good.
there's more and more people following in with their.
Yeah. Well, Matt, is there anything else that
It's been great. It's been a great experience.
Is there anything else you'd like to add or think that we might be missing?
If anyone's watching this that's here, keep doing what we're doing. Keep it peaceful. Show unity. Show compassion for each other. I really appreciate people walking around looking out for kids and women. Keep it rolling. The world is watching more than ever. I think what happens here is going to be is going to be a guidance for what goes on in the rest of the world. And I think we need to let the world see that, Canadians can protest and we can protest properly and we can come together as one country. And probably one of the worst things that's happened in a while worldwide. And, I appreciate all the support that I've gotten from the emails, the phone calls from across Canada at work, the food people have dropped off, the flags waving on the side of the road on the overpasses. The support has been unreal, and we appreciate that. We're seeing you up there, and we're just astounded because truckers aren't that well liked, and just to be liked like this and loved, it's great. And keep your support up for these truckers, even when this is over. Truckers get lonely out there on the road, and they go through a lot in their life. And when this is, past, thank a trucker. Thank a trucker.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are heroes.
We're not.
True
We're not. Some people say we're heroes. The men and women who fought for the country, they're heroes. We're, some people think we are. We're just people. We're just an industry that's had enough and that willing to take a stand. So.
And humble.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we thank you, and
I thank you for the support and letting people see this.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens over the course of the weekend, and safe travels. Be careful on that highway heading back, and stay warm tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, I got a few more blankets more than normal, and so luckily the sun's shining, but it's still the sun's a little deceiving.
Okay. You take care. Thanks again, Matt.
Take care. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye now. There you have it.
Wow.
So, yeah, there's real inspiration there. These guys are on the front lines and fighting tonight in a peaceful way. And yeah, that's the way Canadians do it, I guess, right?
That's the way they do it.
Seems to be. Well, I've got a Pierre minute clip here. We can test it up if you want to pull it up. We can see if the audio will work. If not, I will just send you the link for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, drop it in the
we'll do.
in the box, and
Yeah,
I
I'll
can
give her.
pull it up.
A rally for truckers, but it's also a rally for the 60% of Canadians who say they worry they can't afford food.
Any audio on that?
Yep, there is. Crank it right
Okay.
all the way to the top.
Perfect.
60-year-old small businessman who spent his entire adult life building up an enterprise and watching it wiped out. For the depressed 14-year-old who's been locked out of school. It's for the families that can't take it anymore. It's for the people who want to stand up and speak for their freedoms. It's for all those that our government and our media have insulted and left behind. It's for the people who work hard to put food on our table, to stock our shelves, and to make this country work. It's for all that is great, that attracts hundreds of thousands of people from around the world to come here. They come here not for the warm weather, but for our freedom. And that's why we are gathered here today. Freedom, not fear. Truckers, not Trudeau.
Wow, I'm truly inspired. In fact, I think that is an overpass we took a look at this morning.
Oh, was it? Really?
That looks one and the same. It could be.
Yeah, that was a post he had made himself on his Facebook. So thank you, Pierre. And we definitely, we appreciate the support.
Well, from the Conservative side, he has been one of the biggest supporters of the truckers and the most vocal.
Oh yeah, well, blue collar jobs, right? And like he's all about the workers and the economy and how we can better the economy and a different approach instead of the way we're going.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's a different topic.
Less government, not more.
Govern me hardly.
So I do believe Brian Everett said he would pop on at around 8, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Is he still having trouble getting a connection?
No, he hasn't gotten back to me.
Well, there's a lot going on up there, and I know that he's with a group of people and doing a lot of different things. So
yes. So
but
I think
we've had some very good guests on tonight. I think they've given us a good sense of what is happening up there. It was, a lot of activity. There were a lot of people there this afternoon. The crowd continued to grow and grow through the day. It sort of seemed to hit a peak mid-afternoon, even during some of the times when we were off taking a break. There was, I think, a lot going on Parliament Hill. It seems like there is not a lot of organization because so much of this is happening organically, even though there are some organizers behind the scenes trying to keep things coordinated. The crowd is so big and so many people have just joined this just out of passion and frustration that they're not even really in contact with the organizers. The convoys moving here from Western Canada, some of them still have not even arrived yet because of delays. So the crowd is going to continue to grow even tomorrow from the way things look. It's hard to get a complete sense of the size of this, of the scope, because people, the truckers, the people who have gone there are being directed to what they're calling staging areas where vehicles are being parked off-site. So even though all the focus is on Parliament Hill, a lot of the trucks are parked in other areas, out at the airport, in parking lots, out around the city. And we've heard reports that from people on the scene that as many as 100,000 trucks could be in the city tonight, but they're not disrupting the flow of traffic. They're not disrupting business. They're there peacefully. They're abiding by all the laws, and police have done, from everyone's estimation, an incredible job of keeping things flowing and keeping things peaceful, keeping the public safe.
that's the pattern here. That is so important, and I'm really inspired by it. Everybody who has come on has all said the police have done a great job. They're doing a phenomenal job. They are directing traffic, keeping people safe. The other common trend here is that people have a positive experience there. There's a positive vibe there. There's no violence. I mean, sure, they might have dressed up Terry Fox, but it's cold in the wintertime just wearing shorts and a tank top, so.
Well, I did see some comments on social media from some of my liberal friends who are just losing it over that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they're clutching their pearls because somebody put a hat on the Terry Fox statue monument and put a Canadian flag around his neck. And, you know, they're saying, you don't get to touch Terry Fox ever. So they're saying that the Terry Fox monument was defaced. What's your view on that? Is that defacement? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I agree with doing anything to the monument, but is that fair to use that word, guys? Defaced?
No, I don't think it's fair at all. Like just last year, 2 years ago, people were specifically on the left celebrating the destruction of, actual defacement of these types of pieces of property. And then I think a lot of it might be to just say, well, wait a second, guys, there's a bit of hypocrisy here, trying to be facetious about it and trying to use it as like that. But I have a hard time looking at that picture and going, I'm really upset that they defaced Terry Fox's statue. Look at it. It's pretty harmless.
So he's holding a Canadian flag. There's a Canadian flag tied around his neck. There's that's
a cape, that's not tied around his neck. He's wearing it as a cape.
He's wearing it as a cape.
You want to make sure our language is correct, right?
Yes, that's right. He has a hat on. What's that? The NHL Players Association logo? Is that what that is?
No, that's the Team Canada logo.
Oh, is that the Team Canada logo?
Thankfully, because if they would have put a specific team, oh man, the outrage would have been. We would have some brawls out there.
And they're making a political statement by
one of our listeners here just dropped the perfect definition of what defacing is permanent damage.
Yes. Well, when I heard that he was defaced, I immediately thought someone had been down there with spray paint, and I thought, oh my goodness, why would someone do that?
Yeah.
Then I saw this picture, and I thought,
that didn't come out of a can.
I mean, I wouldn't do that myself, but there are degrees of things, right? There's perspective, and if you're telling people that the Terry Fox monument was defaced by the truckers, you get a certain image in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they're really grasping for something to smear these truckers with, in my view. They're losing their you-know-what over this, and they're clutching their pearls. Sorry, guys.
This is trending number 1 on Twitter right now.
Yeah, because people are thinking that that it spray painted him or something, right?
And guess who's spreading the fake news on that?
Oh,
the Toronto Star.
Yes. Well,
you know how bad they've been.
Well, they've always been a left-wing liberal rag.
Rag.
They are.
The other thing that I took note that's trending on Twitter is hashtag I stand with Trudeau. 11,000 tweets in the past few hours. And then also they're calling us the Flu Trucks Clan.
That's terrible.
I kind of like it. It's kind of funny.
Nazis is number 6. And hashtag Truckers for Freedom 2022 is now at 10. But it is superior. It has 190,000 tweets.
That's kind of strange. It's got more tweets and it's lower on the trending. I thought trending meant there was more traffic and sharing and retweeting.
Well, I think it's because 500,000 of the people who are following this are there.
And that's a very, very good point.
And so you're not going to sit there on Twitter when you're at the world's greatest freedom rally?
Yeah, well, even like with ourselves, we've been too busy doing this to really get a good concrete routine through our own, news or information intake of what we usually do. Like I haven't had a chance to go through any of the normal stuff I get to because we've been just kind of going through what we're doing. It takes time to be educated or informed, right?
So the people out there viewing right now, like, we share your thoughts on this. Like, where do you guys stand on this Terry Fox defacing? Am I not outraged enough? Am I not upset enough about it?
Yeah. Or what do you feel of the semantics of such situations?
Jumanji says Twitter bots. So I think that's a good point. There's definitely a lot of Twitter bots out there. Social media in general is full of all kinds of Russian bots. Like, I'm always so skeptical when I come across profiles that have no picture in it. It's like, okay, yeah, that's not even legitimate.
There's a big difference between, like I said, there are degrees of things, right? There's throwing paint on a statue. There's tearing it right down, as we've seen at some other protests, and these people who are clutching their pearls tonight over this. I know some of, the people that I've seen the comments from online, they're the same ones who justified some of these protests during the BLM riots as mostly peaceful, while they're burning people's businesses down.
Okay, well,
I don't want to get into it too much of this, but
well, here I'll show you why it's trending on Twitter. So if I just shared my screen, so this is what the fake news media did 4 hours ago. Oh, they posted it again. They posted it again. And they posted it again. And they posted it again. And they posted it again. Look how many times they posted that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 5 times. So they posted that 5 times all 4 hours ago. And so
Rapid
then they
finger click.
And then they go, yeah, at least they're not pulling it down. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's exactly it, right?
So they bombarded the Twitter space with outrage about it, and then they probably talked to some sort of cancer survivor, and they're like, "Oh my God, they did what to Terry Fox?" And then they go, "Experts agree that the trucks, I can't even remember what it was. The Ku Klux Klan is dressing up Terry Fox." So, like, they're just generating outrage at this point.
They're posting it automatically to gauge the Twitter artificial intelligence. I don't know what that's. I don't really know how that works.
Or more commonly known as an algorithm now. Or still algorithms.
Well,
I think we bailed on. I think we are no go with Brian for tonight. But
yes,
we've had a long day, so I think we are better off to reconvene tomorrow.
Yes, I think you're right. It's we've been on now for almost 2.5 hours. We've had a lot of people watching again tonight. I know that as people watch across these platforms on YouTube, Facebook, and elsewhere, you're maybe seeing 50 people on this one or 200 people over here, but collectively, in all of the broadcasts we've done, we've had thousands of people watching, and like literally thousands and thousands, and not just from Canada, people from around the world have been watching our live coverage of Freedom Convoy 22 cruise into the Capitol, and we're grateful to all of you for watching and sharing your thoughts in the comments tonight and in the previous broadcasts. And I'm going to throw it over to my associates here and get some closing thoughts from them.
I think we had a successful day for day one with Saskatchewan saying that the The jab doesn't stop the spread of COVID-19, and that they have committed to ending the vaccination passport in Saskatchewan. So that is a day one victory in my eyes, even despite Nova Scotia making totalitarian rules about where you can protest and where you can't protest. I think this is a much bigger victory than the loss that Nova Scotia had today. My hopes are for a peaceful night so we can continue to see what's going to happen tomorrow.
Chris, what do you think?
Definitely. For myself, I really enjoyed. Like, I have to agree with you guys. We're doing really good as a country right now. As the awareness, everyone's starting to really unite and collaborate and share ideas, and it seems like the division is starting to slowly go away, and hopefully that continues on. The one takeaway I got was that reporter. That to me was huge to see, because we've been going on and on and on saying mainstream media is not doing anything. They're not doing anything. It's been going on for years, and to see that right after the day of, and I feel like us and any other independents and any other people who are trying to supply this footage and get this stuff out there is applying pressure to the media companies where the protesters can't as much, So it's nice to keep them in line with making sure they're kind of reporting what they should be reporting properly, and kind of it's just nice. It's again like it's a small victory. Hopefully that man isn't fired. Hopefully he has a job by the end of the week. But definitely loving the support. Please keep it going, and just try to stay safe out there and stay warm.
And Brixton posted this in the comments, and it was up briefly. I'm not sure I understand what he's talking about, and then he sent another.
I think I know what I think
what
I
is
know
this
what they're
about?
talking about. So it looks like they went to a protest in Vancouver, and I wanted to hear what it was all about. They were against gay people and transgendered. And I'm transgendered. I have the same beliefs as you, but I am not welcome. Well, you are certainly very welcome here, and we appreciate you listening in.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And boy, if you went to an event someplace like the ones we're seeing in Ottawa or anything that we've experienced down here, and you weren't welcome, then you're not with the same kind of people we're with, Brixton. So you are absolutely welcome here, as is everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So please we want you to feel welcome here. Come back anytime, and we love everybody. So
and to be completely honest, like with the question itself, it's like, are they welcome? I don't really think that even is a question in the first place.
We want you.
You're a
We want
Canadian.
you.
You're a Canadian citizen. Period.
Right.
You're in. It doesn't matter about all that stuff. That's why we have the Charter of Rights. Remember?
If you believe in free speech, and you say you believe in the things we believe in, you're our kind of people. That's what it's all about. The other stuff is all incidental. That's you. You're an individual, and you're yourself, and you do you. But and that's what we believe in too. So, yeah, you're welcome. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the freedom movement.
And those sentiments are offered by other people too here. So, it's coming in right now.
Here's something else from Brixton. Yes. Yeah, the answer to that question is yes. 100%. Why wouldn't we?
The whole key is this is not said enough anymore, but it's not said enough. But things are better in the world now than they've ever been. The world has never been as good as it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have a document that holds everybody equal under the law. You could say that there's nuance to that and that it didn't for some people. But let me tell you this right now. Maybe the problem with it is that not enough people stood up for what they believed in. Not enough people did what they were supposed to do. Democracy works when somebody does great harm to you. You also have the civic duty to make sure that people who do criminal negligence or criminal harm to you, that it's brought to the attention of the law. We need to unite again. We need to stop putting ourselves in these camps. These camps are not doing anybody any good. We need to. We're all Canadians here, even if you're listening abroad.
I think that's awesome. Thank you, Brixton says, but I see a gap in your freedom convoy because people are adapting their own beliefs to the word freedom. Well, that's true. Freedom means different things to different people. That's true. But I think the one thing that is galvanizing people is that we're tired of these mandates. Brian is joining us.
Hey,
Brian,
guys.
there you are.
Hey, Brian.
How are you guys doing? I got a surprise here. I've got, I know Jim had talked. I've got a surprise. I got, look who I have with me, guys.
Hey.
I've got Vacccine Bernier with me. We can't hang very long because, we're kind of at a dinner with all the PPC people up here after the marching and parading going on. But go ahead if you've got a couple questions you want to ask Max. You guys feel free. We'll answer a couple. We can't be around for long because we've got our wives and stuff here, but go for it if you got a couple.
Oh, awesome.
Awesome.
You want to take the lead there, Brendan? Go ahead.
So I wanted to ask you, do you think that this is a pivotal point in everything you've been fighting for over the past year?
Oh, I believe so. You know, after more than 2 years now, people are fed up with that. And I believe that it is a strong message for these establishment politicians. They will have to do something as soon as possible. We cannot have all these mandates for another month or 2 months. I strongly believe that it's a new beginning for us, and that's a great time. You know, minus 20 on the Hill, and all these people over there, peacefully, I must say, peacefully, they're just to, it's not a protest anymore, it's a rally. People are happy, they're happy to be there, and they know that something is happening in our country now.
Do we have enough resilience, the resources, the stamina to stick this out? Because it seems like the Prime Minister is digging his heels in and doesn't want to budge on this issue.
Yeah, but you know, I look at some news, and the Premier of Saskatchewan said that he will end the mandate soon. So, you know, something is happening, and I believe that Trudeau will have to listen to his population. He cannot continue to divide people against each other, you know, vaccinated one, unvaccinated one. I was very surprised today on the Hill. A lot of people came to me, Max, I have two shots, and I won't take the third one. I'm with you. I don't recognize my country anymore. So we're doing that fight. So that's why we have a momentum, and we're going to win that. We're going to win that. It's a question of time.
So I wanted to comment on this because I really love this, that Justin Trudeau thought that Ottawa was too scary for politicians today, but there you are in the crowd of people. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh my God, that was great. You know, it's sad a little bit, you know, that I was the only one there on the Hill with everybody. These establishment politicians are supposed to represent the population, and they were not in Ottawa. They were not there. They were not on the Hill. And actually, as you know, the session will start next week. So why? They were afraid to meet Canadians. And but I can tell you that I believe that these politicians will understand. I hope so. You know, you when you fight for something, and like I said, we are on the right side of the history, and I know that we will win that because the truth is always winning, and that's the beginning. You know, they cannot lie to us anymore. You know, take 2 shots and everything will be okay. You won't catch COVID-19. That was a lie. You know, when 70% of the population will be double vaxxed, that you will regain your freedoms. That was a lie. You know, they lie to us all the time, and now we have a pandemic of vaccinated people. And we are reaching real herd immunity, and that's why that's the end of this pandemic. The pressure is coming from inside, from Canadians, but also from outside in other countries, like in UK, like in Texas, Florida. So the pressure is coming from maybe, I don't know, question of weeks, I believe so.
Question of weeks. So
thank you, guys.
Thank you, Max.
Thank you.
Okay. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Okay, thanks, Maxie. Hey, guys, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time to get for the delays from down in the Parliament Hill and all that lovely stuff. There's Gilbert. There's another one of the candidates up from the Toronto area. We've got a bunch of people. We're taking a little bit of a break tonight. We've been down for a couple days. We've arranged a little bit of a gathering for the supporters and the candidates from the past and everybody who's linked in with the PPC. As you can see, pretty special, I think, that we happened to coordinate it to be able to get the leader on this podcast with you guys tonight. And you know what?
Absolutely.
I'm really pleased that you guys made the time for us to come on. And I'll keep you informed, both you, Rick, and it's good to see you, Rick. I haven't seen you since the election, but you've been over in Chatham. Thank you so much, guys, for doing this. And you're another leg in getting the information out. And I was ecstatic when I asked Max if he'd do a little bit of something tonight at the atrium where we're at, and he did it. So, of course he would, and he does it. He was out with the people. You should have seen it today. The amount of people that were out there greeting him. It was so nice to see people actually being the Canadians that I remember from growing up, like what we've seen the last couple of years. Like I said to Max this morning, can you believe we have a system going on in Ontario where you got to show papers to get into a restaurant? I'm like, what is going on? So it's finally sinking in, and I can't believe we made it out of Ottawa tonight, to be quite honest. It is nuts down there, but it's so awesome that, I don't want to leave. I'm here again tonight. I'm going to stay as long as I can tomorrow. I haven't decided if I'm going to leave yet. I got to get back to work, but I'm doing everything I can, and same with all the other people here and the truckers, and it's just a whole bunch of different people. There's no particular, it's weird because the politic end of it for me, it's here because we're with the PPC down here and with everybody, but the unitedness of the freedom issue is in the forefront, and it's so nice to be involved with everybody out there and getting it done. So I'm going to go have myself a bite to eat. Thank you guys for having me on. And
thanks for coming on.
No problem. And I'll message you guys again tomorrow. I'll send something over to you guys to let you know. And if I can get them on again for some blurbs, if something goes on, we'll try to set something up to do that. I won't make any promises. I think I've shot her across the moon already for what I've happened to get him. And he agreed to be with me twice, but we just couldn't do it at Parliament Hill. There was a bad connection and too many people. So I'm going to go. Thank you so much for having us on, guys.
Thank you. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Brian.
Right on, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
That was Brian Everett and Maxime Bernier, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, good thing we were able to hold out a little longer too.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, that was a treat.
That was a treat.
Yeah, and it is interesting to see Max down there, one of the few politicians to actually come out and meet with the people.
Yeah, he's not all talk like some other politicians.
That's right.
He didn't jump in a helicopter and fly away.
Yeah, just down there with the people, out in the open, walking
representing.
Around.
Yeah. I do need to fact check him though. Randy Hillier was down there. We got a glimpse of his.
That's
his
right.
speech.
That's right. I do apologize.
Yeah, we did see him down there too.
Thank you, Randy. It's been a busy day.
Yeah. Pretty impressive. Yeah.
So we given our closing remarks, and then we had something else happen. So.
Well, more to come tomorrow, folks. We will be back on the air. What time are we signing on tomorrow, gentlemen?
Tomorrow's what, Sunday? I got the whole day. I'm open.
12 or 1?
Yeah. Let's say, shall we reconvene at 1 o'clock tomorrow?
Let's do that.
Yeah. Okay. And
let's do that.
And we'll bring more live coverage of Freedom Convoy. You know what? Let's make it noon, because we started. We've been doing noon already. We'll stick to the same schedule. How does that sound?
Make it easy.
Then, if somebody comes looking for us, they'll be able to find the broadcast that way. So 12 noon tomorrow. These same social media channels on mostly Facebook and YouTube, multiple channels. But you'll find us there on Maverick News and
the Flow of Discourse podcast, although it hasn't been working, so we got to fix that before we do this.
Okay.
Do it again.
And, yeah, so we've had thousands and thousands of people, and I think it's being shared across some of the People's Party platforms as well. So you'll find us online, folks, tomorrow. Thank you, everyone, for sharing comments like this.
Yes.
I saw a comment earlier today, and it said truck Fudo. Truck Frudo. And I was like, I like that. That's good.
And yes, Laura, that's 12 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. We'll be back on with more live coverage from Ottawa. So please, everybody, join us again. And our efforts to keep you informed and give you a clear, accurate, and as unfiltered a perspective on all of this as possible will continue. So with that, gentlemen, we are signing off, and we'll be back on tomorrow at noon and again tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And as always, stay safe out there.
Yeah, catch you on the flip side.